Okay, I think I'm ready to record. I'm in my bed today. The camera's in my bed today. It's cozy January, so I've been in a very cozy mood, very lazy mood. We're just gonna do this from my bed today. I don't really have any other place that would be better. This video is kind of just like a reflection on this past year, 2025, reflection on my first year on YouTube, my first year doing a couple new things with crochet and knitting and yarn in general. So, a lot of new things happened last year. So, I'm kind of just going to reflect on that, tell you my thoughts, tell you what I learned, tell you everything, I guess, as much as I can, as much as I should. There are 3 things that I wanted to talk about specifically for this video, and that would include my first year on YouTube, the yarn challenge that I did, and then my next steps. That's the 3rd category. Jumping right into it, my first year on YouTube, my first full year, because technically I posted my first video in 2024, December 26th, 2024. So my first full video was posted, and it was my cat ear crochet tutorial, and that one honestly did surprisingly well. It is still my most viewed video to date, so I mean, I'd say that's a pretty successful first video. The reason why I started my YouTube channel specifically was just because, I mean, I've been crocheting since 2020. I've been knitting since I was 10 years old. I've learned enough skills now where I could realize that I could look at a picture or I could imagine something in my mind, like envision something, and realize that I didn't have to follow a pattern to make it. And so I was like, well, I feel like this is a good skill now that I'm in a place where I can teach other people to do that. And so I was like, I've always followed tutorials on YouTube. YouTube is such a great place to learn new things. So what if I'm on the other side of that? What if I'm a teacher on YouTube, an actual YouTuber that people are following for instructional videos, for like inspirational videos, creative videos? And so that's kind of why I started. And then I wanted to talk about my milestones this past year and, what kind of like launched me in different directions when I reached certain things, just so that if someone is interested in starting a YouTube channel, what could they kind of expect for the first year, what the timeline of things was for when things started to happen. My first video was posted December 26th, 2024. April 2025, a couple things happened. 4 or 5 months after my first video that I posted, I was less than 1,000 subscribers at this point, and I had my first brand reach out to me. It was a jewelry company called Ana Luisa, and so in one of my videos I did like a little 2-minute like shout out to them, and then in return they gave me a couple pieces of jewelry, which I honestly love and I wear all the time. One of them was this necklace, and then I also got some earrings, which I'm not wearing right now, but they match the necklace that I literally have not taken off since then. And in that same month on TikTok, I had one of my videos explode. Right now it's at like 1.1 million views, which is a lot for me because I would get like maybe 1,000 views per video, maybe like 30 likes. I had 30 followers at this time. It gained me 1,300 followers in that time. So I went from 30 to 1,300 or around that. I've still kind of been at that point. I don't really post consistently on TikTok. So that video really like kind of skyrocketed me to be like, oh wait, now I have followers on TikTok, which I never thought I would. And then I hit 1,000 subscribers in May. And so that was really fun. Honestly, it's more of like just a numbers thing because 1,000 is like a cool number to hit. Like, oh my gosh, I reached 1,000. And before that, I had never really reached 1,000 on any of my social media platforms except obviously TikTok, which in a couple weeks I reached 1,000 off of one video. But YouTube feels like more slow growth. And so that was really exciting to me. So with that, to qualify for like some of the things to unlock on YouTube, like the memberships, you have to reach 3,000 watch hours, which took me a really long time to reach that amount. And I ended up reaching 3,000 watch hours in the beginning of August 2025. So 3 months after I reached 1,000 subscribers, I reached 3,000 watch hours, which it felt like forever. It felt like forever trying to reach those watch hours because every day it would go up by like 20, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't do this. At that point, you unlock some things, but you still don't qualify for the monetization on YouTube. And to qualify for the monetization, you need to reach 4,000 watch hours. So even though I waited so long to reach the 3,000 watch hours, I was like, oh my god, I still have to wait again for the 4,000 watch hours. And so it felt like it also took a long time for that. and I ended up reaching the 4,000 watch hours on October 20th. Yes, I remember the date. Officially monetized. Yay! And so ever since October 20th, I've been officially monetized on YouTube. You can unlock the AdSense, which you earn revenue off of the ads that are played on your videos. And so the total amount of money that I've earned on YouTube in 2025, basically from October 20th to December 31st, 2 months, was $216, I think. 216 plus some change. That was honestly more than I expected. I was expecting to earn maybe like $30 a month, like $1 a day type of thing for the ads, but it ended up being more than that, and I'm kind of happy. It's like a little extra spending money, obviously not enough to live on because my rent was like 5 times that. So yeah, it's not enough to live on, but it is nice to have a little bit extra money for things that I enjoy doing. I mean, that would be like my yarn expenses. So it's nice and it's fun. And I feel like it's such a crazy thing to think, like, oh my God, wait, I can actually earn some money from this. So it does motivate you when you hit those milestones, because you realize, okay, maybe my goals aren't as far away as I thought they were initially. And the more that you reach goals, the more confidence you get, the more consistent maybe you get with your stuff as well. So my honest thoughts are, being like a content creator, putting yourself out there, especially on platforms that are not like YouTube, where YouTube is more long-term formats, and like they'll have the shorts, but then it's more like personal with the long-term formats. I found I liked that better than the shorter term formats like TikTok and Instagram, where you have to be more like flashy, more quick, more maybe outgoing and extroverted, which I am not. And so I find YouTube to be like more comforting, more personal, more like, oh my gosh, you get to know someone because you watch them for like 20 minutes. And like TikTok is a little bit more trendy, more lucky, I want to say too, because that viral video, it also took me like 10 seconds to film. I did like 5 shots and I was like, okay, post, and then it was like boom. And on YouTube, I feel like you have to put in a little bit more effort, a little bit more of like your own creativity to get the results, instead of just being like, oh, boo boo boo. What surprised me was I actually found that I really enjoyed editing videos. I really enjoyed creating like different graphics for my thumbnails using Canva, being like creative in that way. And I really enjoyed sharing my projects with people. And the craziest thing is, when you share your projects with people, people actually see them. And that was one of the things that kind of blew me away. Like every time I do get a comment on a video, I'm like, oh my God, you guys are actually watching this. It's so crazy. Like it just kind of blows my mind that, like, oh my God, people are watching this. And then when I go on Instagram, and sometimes I'll see like I'm tagged in a photo, and it's a photo of something that I designed and made and then made a tutorial on, and then someone made something from the tutorial, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's so cute. Like it feels really nice to kind of have this like community, or like, I mean, it is nice to have a community of people who enjoy doing the same things that you do. A lot of my friends don't know how to crochet or don't know how to knit, and none of my family members know how to do that either. That was something that I picked up on my own because I've just been kind of like a crafty person. And so it's nice to share that with people that, normally I would never get to really know unless I posted these videos, unless I put myself out there in that way. What was challenging though, I mean, there are a lot of things that were really challenging. So last year was a big year for me personally as well. I am from Ontario. I'm still in school, technically full time. I'm a university student. I'm still in school. While I was in school at the beginning of 2025, I was working 2 jobs, and I was doing this YouTube stuff, and I was a full time student. So I had 5 classes going on at the same time, and it gets busy. And then in June, I got a job offer to work in Vancouver in British Columbia. Ontario, where I live, is on the east and Vancouver's on the west. I mean, I really wanted to go. Part of my goals and my dreams in my personal life is to travel and to explore and to live in different places. And so I knew that I wanted to do this. And it was also for my school. I was getting a job that could go towards my co-op credit for school, which is something, I don't know if every school has that, but my school you can basically get work experience and then have it go towards your diploma. And in June, beginning of June, I drove all the way with my boyfriend. My boyfriend and I drove, and then we lived in Vancouver, and we just got back a week ago. And so we were there from beginning of June to the end of December. In that time as well, I had school over the summer, and then I was also working basically a full-time job for the 7 months. And I found that I was really consistent. I tried to be very consistent, and I was for the majority of the year until about, I want to say October, because that's when things with my job got really busy because they're a small business, and so their Christmas season is really busy. And so I found like I didn't really have enough time to do videos. In that job specifically, the Christmas season is a lot of like business to customer relationships and conversations, and that does drain me as a person. And so I just found like I was so tired, I was so busy that I just didn't have the motivation to upload videos, to record videos, and to even just like post, because I was like, I need to hibernate. It was also, getting into the winter season where you feel so lazy anyways. I hadn't posted for a while, and so my last video was, I think, 3 months ago, which I'm sorry guys. I had to hibernate for a little bit, but I am back with a spark. That was challenging for me, just organizing everything, managing everything, being on top of like a consistent schedule, because as well, when you are posting videos, you're basically working for yourself, and so no one's telling you, oh, you have to do this, you have to post, you have to film, you have to edit. No one's telling you that, and it's really easy for yourself to be like, oh, I can just do this, in a couple weeks I'll put off this one, and then you keep putting it off, and then it's hard to get back into the swing of things. So you really have to be self-disciplined, I found, and just motivated, which I'm trying to do now. And another thing that was challenging, I found, was, before I started making these videos, I had no editing experience. For a majority of my videos, I used iMovie because that's the only thing that I know how to use. And so it was a learning process, a learning curve. I do want to explore my skills a little bit more with the editing stuff and be a little bit more creative with my editing process, make it more engaging as a video. However, if I want to be consistent as well, and I was on kind of like a 2-week posting schedule for myself, like, oh, I want to put out a tutorial every 2 weeks, it takes time to make the crochet item, which crochet takes a long time, and I just found like I didn't have enough time for myself, or I wasn't giving myself enough time to really explore different editing styles. And so I found that a lot of my editing stayed the same from my first video, and a lot of the things that I did in that first video I just kind of carried over into the rest of them, instead of exploring new ways to edit, instead of like exploring different creative things to put in my videos. And so that is something that I do want to work towards. And then I did find kind of challenging was like learning more of that stuff when I already kind of was like, oh, well, this one worked fine, I can just keep doing it like that, when I didn't really want to do that. And I wanted to, you watch a bunch of other YouTubers and they're doing such crazy stuff, and you're like, oh my god, I want to do that. It takes time. So that's kind of a wrap up on my first year on YouTube. Yay. My next section is going to be my yarn challenge, kind of the most exciting one. I think maybe I will talk a little bit about why I decided to do it, what led me to it, and then I'll show you. It gets a little bit more interactive here. I'll show you how much yarn I have left, what I made, that's the best part, and my final thoughts on all that stuff. Since, you already know, my personal business now, I moved across the country from Ontario to Vancouver, and we drove. And so I was like, I don't want to buy any more yarn. I knew that, rent, money, and utilities, and groceries, and just like living expenses were going to be expensive. And so I was like, I don't want to have to buy yarn. I had a problem buying yarn when I was home. I had like a whole shelf full. It was kind of crazy. And so I was like, I'm just going to take all of my yarn that I have, or as much as I wanted to take. I still did leave some here that were like a little bit too big, or maybe like they were too tangled. I didn't want to deal with that. But I took all the ones that I had, and I filled up 2 giant bags of like Winners grocery bags. And so they were huge. And I challenged myself, to not buy any more yarn, see what I could make, get my creativity juices flowing. And I'm pleasantly surprised with that challenge. I'm pleasantly surprised with how I did, how much yarn I ended up using and, what I was able to make. And it was really fun. So this is kind of all that I have left. Plus some extras you don't see, but I mean, it still looks like a lot of yarn, obviously, because it still is a lot of yarn, but considering with how much I started with, oh my god, I want to say confidently before counting it that I definitely used up more than half of what I had. To my standards, I successfully completed this challenge, or I successfully did the challenge. And the challenge was not buy any more yarn, continue crocheting, continue making tutorials based off of the yarn that I had. It did end up changing the way that I shop, the way that I buy yarn, the way that I look at yarn, and I'm like, if I don't have a project in mind for that, I'm probably not going to buy it. So the company that I worked for while I was in Vancouver, they were really all about sustainability. They would recycle fruits from the farmers that would normally be thrown away if they were oddly shaped or too ripe or just couldn't be sold to markets or grocery stores. And so they would take that fruit and they would turn it into delicious sauce. And I was like, you know what? I love that effort of sustainability. I love to thrift shop. I don't honestly buy anything new anymore, and I just go to thrift stores. And I had started doing that with my yarn, going to thrift stores to buy yarn, because I was like, there's so much yarn here, and it's honestly like really cool, like interesting textures all the time, interesting weights of yarn and different fabrics and stuff like that. And so I had honestly built up a lot of my yarn collection because I had gone to thrift stores. So I had kind of built up my yarn collection before I even moved, because I had bought a bunch of yarn bundles kind of thing from the thrift store. And they're not in balls of yarn, you never know how much there is of it. And I would just be like, oh, I really like that color, I'm gonna buy that. And while I do still enjoy that, I do still find that really important. I think it is important to also have an idea in your mind of what you're gonna make and what you're gonna use it for, because if not, you're kind of just, buying stuff and then it just sits around and you don't use it. And so that kind of sparked some future goals maybe that I have, some future like ideas for how I could, reduce the yarn that we have in thrift stores and just that people have laying around, and kind of repurpose that into something that other people can use. So, I mean, I'm still workshopping. This may be in my next steps category of just like, there is a lot of overconsumption on the planet, and this is not right. We should be buying more secondhand stuff. We should be buying less of everything. And we should be getting more creative with what we make of what we already have. That was kind of my takeaway. I do think that this whole challenge sparked so much more creativity from me than if I had bought yarn specifically for a project, because I have to look at my colors, I have to create different color combos that I would never think of before. I have to, look at how much I have left and be like, oh, could I do this? Could I use a different color for this? I do recommend it. I had a lot of fun. I will continue to do this into the new year. So this kind of leads me into my next steps category. I kind of already mentioned it. I want to continue using my yarn up, continuing my yarn challenge for myself personally. Going into next year, 2026, more things are coming my way. More travel is coming my way. I will be doing a study abroad term in the UK starting, I'm leaving in 2 weeks from today, January 20th. And so I will be studying in the UK, studying abroad. And, that's hard because I will be there for 5 months, 5 or 6 months. And so, again, that's a big chunk of my year. And that's a big chunk of my year where I probably won't have space to bring my yarn on the plane. That's probably not even sustainable, anyways. But I still want to continue making videos. I want to continue making tutorials. And so I'm going to have to find a way where I can, buy the yarn that I need for the projects that I have in mind while I'm away. And so that's going to just look a little bit different. But obviously, when I get back from my study abroad term in the future of my life, I want to continue doing this yarn challenge, continue just buying yarn in a more sustainable way, anyways. And so that's what I will be carrying into this next year. Also, next steps. So, as I was explaining before, I worked for a company that was really into sustainability. It got my juices flowing in my brain, being kind of like entrepreneurial as I am. And so, I want to do something where we can kind of work towards this overconsumption that we have going on in the world and combine that with creativity, with crochet, with my channel in a different way. And so that's very ambiguous. That is very mysterious. But I don't know. The future holds some mysterious things. I don't even know where I'm going with this. This is still something that I've just been thinking of. But yes, these are my next steps. Further exploring these ideas of how we can combine the problem of overconsumption with craft and crochet and community. I think those things are very important. Okay, another next step. Considering that I have unlocked my memberships on my YouTube, I have nothing to offer people. I'm so sorry. I don't know what to offer yet. And so I've been thinking, what would people want to see? What do I want to make? I expressed earlier that I've been really loving working on Canva, making different designs. And so I thought, I love to learn about crochet community. Again, like another community aspect oriented thing. I love learning about different things going on in the crochet community, in the fiber arts community in general. I like when people talk about their stuff, write about their opinions, share art. And I was like, maybe I could make a magazine or a zine, just kind of like a fiber arts zine. Just, maybe I'd start with my own opinion pieces, my own takes that I've seen from other people, art around the world, stuff I've made. I could make it like a seasonal thing, something like that. And something like that I could offer if anyone wants to be a member on my channel for $5. I think you could get a free copy of this scene that I have not created yet, but is still in my mind. I'll have a lot of time to work on my videos, on me, on my channel, on my interests, on my goals, on everything like that. So I think that is in my next steps, and I would want to see if people are interested in that. I mean, that's something that I inherently am interested in. So honestly, I would just make it for myself and just to learn more about like graphic design and creativity digitally. But if people were genuinely interested in that, I would offer it as something for people to buy if they wanted to be a member. No pressure. I think it's something that'll challenge me again, like more creatively in a different way. And yeah, I think that's kind of the end of my next step category. I think, yeah, like just to sum that up, my next steps are just to grow the channel. Big way of just saying I want to grow the channel. I want to offer more things to the people that are subscribing to me. I want to create more of a community aspect of things. I want to inspire people with my tutorials, inspire people with a yarn challenge, a challenge of sustainability, a challenge of less consumption. I want to inspire people to explore their creativity and just be a positive figure in the crochet community, because I love crafts and I love crochet and I love that people love that. And I just want to create like a sense of positivity around me, a sense of positivity. Like, how people talk about third spaces? I want there to be a third space, whether that's in the channel or just in the community, a third space where people, creatives, can go and enjoy the community and the environment and the people and the things and the making and the crochet, all of the above. So, with all that stuff, my next steps obviously will be trying to post more consistently, especially after my, I want to say 3-month break. I will try not to do that again. I will create my own goals and expectations for myself for the channel, and I want to hear always your thoughts and what you want out of it. And so, yeah, I think just a lot of my goals this year are focusing on myself, and this whole thing that I'm trying to create here. Overall, I had a great year. Last year, 2025 was awesome. 2026 is gonna be great. So we're only 6 days in, but I've already created my vision board. I am ready. Thank you so much to everyone for being a part of my 2025, and I hope your 2025s were amazing as well. I know there are big things in everyone's future, and I just hope to continue doing what I love. I hope other people get to continue doing what they love, and I will see you all in the next video, which will be coming soon, and it'll be a fun one. I think it'll be a tutorial, so a fun tutorial. Yay! Thank you for joining me in my cozy bed on this cozy day in cozy January.